Hello, ladies and gentlebirds. Welcome to the Outside Insider. We're back for another day. I started this show, I thought I was going to come into today fairly relaxed, okay? Like we'd spoken about the loss to Dallas. We'd got all of it off our chest, out of our system, about the anger directed towards the offense. Maybe it was misdirected. Maybe it should be pointed at Sean Desai. And it's felt like the scene from The Office where everyone's pointing a gun at everyone else. But when all is said and done, and the things settle down and you dive a little bit deeper than perhaps you first envisioned, you begin to see some worrying signs. And that's what we're here to talk about today in this show. Thanks for tuning in. Wherever you are watching us from, be sure to let us know in the comments section as I scramble around trying to find my little banner. I can't find it. There it is. If you can leave a like on the stream, let us know you're watching. That'd be absolutely fantastic. If you are watching on Facebook, I can see the names, so I can shout you out. If you're on YouTube, just let me know you've done it and I'll give you a virtual cuddle. Brian Johnson will need one by the time I finish with him this evening. Is how we're going to start this show off. Phil has come in and said Brian Johnson is not the problem. And, well, I've just had a lovely conversation with Phil. He has unintentionally lined himself up to be... I just want everyone to remember that exact comment, that very comment in the capital letters, the passion, the anger, that he's defiant, that this is a good BJ, okay? And in half an hour, when we dissect just how rogue and how bad this has gotten without any of us really realizing, because it's like a swan, okay? A swan's beautiful. We all understand. They look radiant on the water, okay? And you don't see all the kicking underneath, all right? Would you be able to tell if a swan had a gammy leg? Could you tell if a swan was having a shit while swimming? You couldn't, because it's under the water, and all you see is this lovely bird. And all we see with this Eagles offense are star players, an elite quarterback, a dominant offensive line with fixtures that have become beloved in the city. We don't see how bad it is, and it's bad, and we're going to get into it. I had no idea how bad it was until our writer David, our newest signing at PSN, put together a fantastic article that made me want to dive deeper into how is it rotting? Is there some rust underneath that we're just trying to gloss over and pretend isn't there? And I know that it's quite a stereotype for Philadelphia fans to ring the alarm bell and start panicking as soon as there's even one mild bit of tremor. I don't think they're wrong to do so. I really don't think they're wrong to do so. There is every reason to be dissatisfied and upset with the product that we are seeing offensively. And we're going to get into that because there's a lot. Although Martian's not happy, straight away give it a rest, Philip. That's what I say to Prince Philip. I don't, but you know what I mean. Win is in. Nice to see you, man. BJ and Syria problems, but they can fix it, I hope. We've got a lot to get through, is all I'm saying, Isaac. There are some graphics, there's a narrative, and everything just connects together in this awful, awful portrayal of what should be a good offense, and it just isn't. So I'm hoping we can get to maybe we can work out between us, okay? We're smart enough folk. We watch enough football. We can understand when an offense is functioning and when it's not. Phil, he isn't the entire problem, but he's part. I would say he's the majority. Having done some digging, having looked at the numbers, and just seeing a pattern, like you've got to understand that his job as a coordinator is to take everything else out of it, is to coordinate, to run, to manage. And part of managing is pivoting. When things don't go to plan, you pivot into something else. You're accountable for your own mistakes when things don't pan out the way they hoped. I'll be the first to admit, okay, I wanted to start something a few years ago called PSN Radio. We put all of our podcasts onto one podcast channel. It didn't work out. It wasn't a success. The audiences didn't jump to the new show, and we slowly phased it out, and it sucked. But we learned, and here we are now with a live show. And we've got people like Phil doing Trending in the AM, which is absolutely categorically not a breakfast show. And a lot of other great YouTube stuff coming. You learn from your mistakes. I don't think Brian is. And the fact that it's so glaring, there is such a glaring pattern with this offense that's not being even slightly addressed is what's concerning. It's not the lack of points. It's not Jalen Hurts' numbers. It's not the rushing. It's nothing on the surface. But when you break it down and you start to see why drives, I don't know, stall out in the red zone, for instance, why drives end up in random turnovers that just shouldn't be happening, it becomes very, very clear why all of these things are just being put in this boiling pot, because Brian Johnson's not paying attention. It's that simple. Need to sign Dorial Green back. He might be an upgrade at this point over Quez Watkins. I'll give him that. But I will say he'd probably also be a better coordinator than Brian Johnson. Matty Mackey's in. I'm sorry. I'm back. He skipped Monday. He couldn't bring himself to talk about hot garbage. I understand. I'll let you off this one time. Sirianni and BJ, it's their scheme and their plays. Jalen, he at times isn't taking what's available. Yeah, I mean, I would say that. I think the problem with Jalen, that isn't really a problem as much as it is a side effect, okay? You've got cause and effect, all right? For anyone that's seen, what Matrix film's that from? The third one? With the Frenchman, he's like, you get the cause and effect, right? If Jalen Hurts is consistently being handcuffed and chained to an offense that isn't producing and they go down by 2 scores, he has to willpower his way out of it. He has to do stuff to get the offense back on track. And that's where he's not taking checkdowns, because he's being aggressive because he has to be, because the offense isn't doing it. You know what I mean? Like the play calls, there isn't enough. In an ideal world, an aggressive offense for Philadelphia should involve a mix of passes near the line of scrimmage, of short checkdowns, of slants, curls, comebacks, all of these other route combinations, okay? And not just levels concepts where the first break is 15 yards into a route. If that happens over and over again, and the shortest check down he has is like 12 yards up the field, it's just not going to end well. At times he's brilliant, and at times he's garbage, boring, vanilla. I don't think it's him. I've been critical of him. I don't think a lot of it's on him, but we'll get into it. I know we've started in hot. I feel on offense, the players need to be held more accountable. 100%. And look, you've got people like Jason Kelsey out there saying that, you know, the team isn't as fired up. Brian Johnson, look, I would have left Brian Johnson alone if he hadn't gone out there today and basically said that the Eagles' offense isn't executing, right? The Eagles' offense is leaving stuff out there. They get into the red zone and they're not finishing. Oh, baby G, you're not even starting. You are not even starting. We say, you know, a bad worksman blames his tools or something. Brian Johnson, if you put a cake in the oven and you turn the oven all the way up to 250 and the cake burns, whose fault is it? If you have all the ingredients to make a fantastic risotto and you put it in the oven and you burn it because you're not managing the clock, whose fault is it? Is it the risotto? Did the risotto turn the oven up, Brian? Is that what happened? No. And let's get to that. Andrew's in. Nice to see you back, man. And a shout out to Edwin Cruz as well, who liked us on Facebook. Right, let's get to the first graphic. Let's start with my discoveries from today, because look, we need to be on the same page with this, all right? Brian Johnson to sit there in a press conference and say the Eagles aren't finishing drives when this is happening. This, what I'm about to show you, is happening under his very nose, is absolutely ridiculous. Jalen Hurts is 28th in time to throw. 2.7 seconds. Just think about that. I'd isolate these. Isolate each one. He's being blitzed the 6th most time out of any quarterback in the league. So without even looking at anything else, you've got a quarterback that ranks near the very bottom in time to throw, and he's being blitzed more than anyone. I wonder why people are blitzing him if he's in the pocket more than nearly anyone else. That's a pattern that has not been spotted, worked on, changed, right? That in itself is an abomination. So not only is Jalen Hurts in the pocket for way too long and being blitzed more frequently as a result, but the receivers rank 30th in separation. Okay? The receivers aren't getting separation. They're not being schemed into plays where they can get separation. So you've got a quarterback that is targeting receivers who are closed, right? Receivers who are being blocked off, blanketed. There's no separation. He's having to wait for them to try and get separation, which they're not getting while being blitzed. So is it a wonder then that Jalen Hurts against man coverage is completing 40% of his passes and against zone 58? You're telling me that's not being accounted for by defenses. You're telling me that a defense isn't going, all right, well, if we smother these wide receivers, they're not going to get separation. We can blitz him because he's going to sit in the pocket and wait because that's all that's there to him. and we're going to stall the Eagles out. And you're telling me that is not on Brian Johnson. The man is coordinating an offense that is handcuffing his quarterback in the pocket more than nearly any other quarterback in the league. He is being blitzed more than most as a result. His receivers aren't getting separation, and he's being forced to throw to them and they're not scheming them shorter. So defenses are lining up in man coverage, knowing that Jalen Hurts is firing a 40% completion clip. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And you're going to sit there and tell me that Brian Johnson isn't the problem. No, there is no way. There is no way any one of you... myself off the screen, excuse me. Whether you're a coach in this league, whether you're a former player, whether you're a fan, or whether you've just come out the room, you cannot tell me, hand on heart, that you agree that Brian Johnson is not at fault when your dual threat quarterback is sat there more than most quarterbacks in the league, being blitzed more because he's waiting for receivers that aren't open because you're not scheming them open, and they're against man coverage who are just playing on it. So you're telling me against man coverage defenses where your receivers aren't getting separation, you're going to scheme them long plays where Hurts is in the pocket being blitzed. And none of that is being addressed. That is barbaric. It is absolutely barbaric. You're an offensive coordinator at the NFL level. Hang on, how is his completion percentage? Well above 69% if he's against man and 41. Hang on, where are we at? Let me get the graphic up. Don't you start now, Sunshine. How is his completion well above 69 if against man's 41, zones 59? Oh, it's more the plays themselves. Like you're talking a percentage of a percentage. So in the same way when it's like, oh, if you get a percentage of a raise and you get a 20% raise, it's like 20% of the number and not a 20%. I don't know. It makes sense, okay? The maths, all right? I don't make the rules. The stat website told me. Right, but it's a percentage of a percentage. So, like, if let's say, for instance, he throws 100 passes, 70 are against man and 40 or 30 are against zone. It's obviously going to be skewed. I'm not saying it is, but do you see what I'm saying? So, if he's 60% of less passes and 40% of more, or the other way around, do you see what I'm saying? Look, I can't do math, but I know the point I'm trying to make. All right, I was going great then. It's bad enough as you telling me the PlayStation's turning on. You know what I'm on about. Receivers being in tight coverage, at least some more turnovers by Jalen. Exactly. Look, just run through the... If it gets worse, by the way, we are halfway through this point. So just to recap, all right, for anyone that's new in and might have just missed this, because it is genuinely embarrassing. Almost as embarrassing as my maths. Let's go in here. Right. No, I've ruined it. Ignore that. Right, here we go. I will say it calmly for the people in the back who may not have got it the first time. Jalen Hurts is near the bottom of the league in time to throw, and as a result, is being blitzed more than anyone else, or by the sixth most quarterback in the league, right? His receiver separation ranks 30th. So your receivers aren't getting open, which means he has to throw longer, and defenses are blitzing him because they know he's going to be there, right? Against man, he's completing 41% of his passes. So you're manning up against receivers that can't get separation in these longer developing plays that allow him to get blitzed and then turn over the ball where he ranks 22nd and the drop to 20th. It all correlates to a poorly orchestrated band. You're a cover band playing Smells Like Teen Spirit in the key of C. Like, it doesn't work. You can't just go in and it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. You're trying to cover a song with no vocal ability. You're a key out of tune. You're a beat behind, and you're not seeing any of it. You are tone deaf. It is ridiculous. All right, so let's take it one further. This was brought up to me today by David, who, again, our latest writer at PSN, a fantastically talented Eagles writer who digs out some of the most incredible stats. Look at this. If you still don't think Brian Johnson's an issue, if you've still got doubts that maybe it's Sean Desai, maybe it's Jalen Hurts, or maybe it's the receivers and the tight... Shut up. Listen. The Eagles are the 7th best team running slants in the league, and they use them the 27th least. The Eagles are the 4th best team running curl routes, and they run them the 28th least of any team. When they've got two backfields or two running backs in the backfield, they are 6th most effective. How often do they do it? The 31st most. And you are telling me that it is not Brian Johnson's fault. See, on one hand, you have got an offense where a quarterback has got 2.7 seconds time to throw, is being blitzed because his receivers can't get separation, therefore he can't complete passes, and he turns the ball over, right? And on the other hand, you've got this coin that says, we're actually really good against, when we run curl routes. We're fantastic when we run slants, but let's not use them. Let's not use curls, and let's have one running back in a backfield where we're 6th most effective. That is primarily on the coordinator. That is 100% on the man calling the shots. And you cannot sit there and say otherwise. It's embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. Who's this? I'm the love of your life, you little bellend. Who are you? See you later. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. E-Money Bentley's in. He says, go Birds. Love to see it. So speed up Jalen Hurts by running RPOs. There we go. It's that simple. It is that simple. That's fish. Don't start. By the way, Stay Keen, I love you really. I'm sure we'll be best friends. He might have been joking, but if he wasn't, I will knock him out. I will very much knock him out. I won't, but you know what I mean. There is just no way that this Eagles team can be coordinated in that fashion and be successful. You cannot have areas of strength and then just do the opposite where you're also very bad. It's not like you've got areas where you're not utilizing and therefore they could be better. It's like you've got really big areas where you could be absolutely fantastic and you are better than most teams in the league. And what you're running, you are worse than most teams in the league. And you cannot sit there and say that is not an offensive coordinator issue or a head coach issue. Someone is calling those shots. And I think Matt's right. AJ is one of the best receivers on slants because he is the most physical. But it's also got to account for look, we all talk about, a couple of years ago where there was that iconic receiver run for 5 games where for just a brief moment in time, the Eagles had the best receiver in the NFL who randomly came through the system. Then Alshon Jeffrey got back healthy and that was the end of it, okay? AJ Brown went on a run, a historic run like no other, purely because of his physicality. He wasn't catching wide open passes. He was being and have you not noticed that since then, there is a lot more push now. You're not seeing receivers sat in soft pockets. There was one 4th down against Dallas where Dallas Goedert was wide open in one of them. And that's only because Jalen Hurts had to escape, funnily enough, a blitz, right? And come through with a stupid reception. So it was Travis Fulgham. I knew it was Travis. I was going to say, all I could think of was ETN. And I was like, don't say Travis Etienne, you idiot. And I got so focused on that I forgot it was Travis Fulgham. So thank you there, both of you, for sorting me out. Dude, Tom's 100% right there. Look, let's go look at these. In my opinion, Devontae Smith is one of the best route runners in the entire NFL. Right, he just is. There is no one that makes a cut like he can. Well, very few. You got Justin Jefferson. There are very, very few, okay? On a slant where you're breaking, on a curl where you're putting your foot in the ground and turning, that's where you create separation. The reason the Eagles are not getting separation, and they are not getting separation because they are 30th in that metric, is because all of your plays are long developing post, just stupid 15-yard shots. Jalen Hurts, I'm pretty sure off the top of my head, is 6th in yards per attempt or air yards per attempt, whichever bollocks one it is, right? I wonder why. Because he has to. Because all of the plays are just long developing and he is sat there in the pocket just waiting for someone to come open. And they won't go open because defenses know all they're going to do is go long. So we'll just sit a safety back. We'll let the corner play man have a safety bracket over the top. Good luck. Jalen sits in the pocket, gets blitzed. I'm amazed he hasn't thrown more turnovers, and that is a credit to Jalen Hurts. The Eagles should be a lot worse than they are. This should be, statistically, a terrible offense, looking at the way it is being orchestrated, and somehow it's not. It's like going to a karaoke bar for a laugh with some friends, and just hearing someone absolutely nail your favorite song. It should be a lot worse. I'm amazed it's not. But hey, we're having fun, and the Eagles have got 10 wins. It is just abhorrent. Like, I cannot get over. Like, on a surface level, you go, they're all right against, when they're playing the pass, or they're good in passing yards, and Jalen Hurts is here in passing touchdowns, and his numbers aren't that far from last year, and the rushing offense is top 10. Lovely. Break it down a minute and see why they're not putting up points against teams they should be putting up points against. Break it down and see why the Eagles may have a statistically proficient offense, but when you watch it, it looks like they've got blindfolds on. And that's the reason. Exactly the reason there. Those stats there. And it just cannot be overstated that Nick Sirianni can't sit there and say, oh, yeah, I've never thought about taking play calling duties away. What do you mean? What do you mean? You're watching AJ Brown running a straight line 18 times in a row to no avail, and you're not thinking, should we maybe do something different? Should we maybe change this up a little bit? And I understand that young coaches need time to grow. I understand young coaches have got to find their feet, their rhythm, their identity, just as anyone else in a new job. But to just sit there and stomach that when you're a Super Bowl team 1 year ago and you should be a Super Bowl team now is just, whether it's blissful ignorance or arrogance, I'm not sure. But there is just a lack of awareness, I think, about that team. And I look, I'm willing to give Sean Desai a pass because he's lost personnel. The linebacker group isn't strong, and it needs you need a strong back end. Okay? You need a strong back end to execute that scheme. When Darius Slay's struggling, when the safeties are down and injured, and you've got a recent acquisition from a trade deadline, it's going to be poor. So then it suffers. The rest of the defense suffers because of it. The middle of the field becomes an issue, which is already an issue because the linebackers suck. You know, I'm willing to accept that domino effect, that it's not necessarily Sean Desai's fault, that there are things out of his control. We're getting a lot of comments here, so I'm going to try and read through them all because you guys are having a tremendous conversation. They want to pass. They're scared of Hurts. Hurts getting hurt, aren't running. What are we good at? Hang on. They want to pass. They're scared of Hurts getting hurt and aren't running what we're good at. Sorry, there was a lot of Hurts there and I got confused. It's complete institutional failure. I agree with that. I'm glad the problems are fixable. This has given me confidence that we aren't the worst team ever. Sure, third worst team ever, maybe. We can have that debate tomorrow. I did miss a comment there from Andrew that says, I want to see Swift in motion with Boston in the backfield. Fake a toss to Swift. See, you're horny. I like that. I don't like that you're horny, but I like that play. That idea. That's what they should be doing. And it's what we kind of, to wrongfully use the term after that comment, fantasized over at the beginning of training camp, where Swift is a great dual threat running back. He's not the most efficient pass catching back in the league, but he is certainly a good one. And you have someone like that with Boston Scott that is also a great pass, a bit more limited as a running back, but he's a better pass catching back. Why not put them together? Why wouldn't you start getting creative? There was a brief bit of motion the other day against Dallas. It may have been like a 3rd and 6, and they motioned Swift out and it gave him an easy check down. But it's so few and far between, it might as well not be there. It's like getting a blowjob once a year. It may as well be a Christmas present. And if you forget about it for 364 days, because you ain't getting one again. It's mad. There needs to be more just awareness, creativity. Maybe it's confidence. Maybe it's a lack of confidence of, you're trying to scheme these long developing routes to give Jalen time because you believe in him as a passer. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's Brian Johnson believing, Jalen will find him. I've known him since he was 3. He's going to be great and do all this impossible stuff for me. I don't know. I don't know. Players have already called out our vanilla boring offense and have said defenses know what we're doing. I agree. I completely agree. Nothing says it like this. Nothing in the world says it like that. You cannot sit there and be top 10 in 3 route combinations or 2 route combinations and 1 formational look and run them 27th, 28th, and 31st. There's no way. You cannot do that and be a successful offense in the NFL. We'll get to some of your comments again. I know you are flaming the comment section today. It's absolutely fantastic. If you want to have your say, you guys, make sure you drop a comment in the chat. I did get called Irish earlier, so we got to top that insult. If someone has got better, do let me know. I'm all for it. If you can leave a like on the stream while you're here and you like this sort of conversation, we do go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but leaving a like is the best way to help us grow the stream. And what I would love to see us do is get more likes than the Eagles got points against Dallas, because I want to prove I'm a more competent content creator than Brian Johnson is offensive coordinator. Now, was it 13 points they got? It was. Can we get more than 13 likes on this stream? I don't know where we're at now, but I want to prove a point. Okay, that I could be more competent at content creation than BJ is at literally anything. I want more bloody creativity. So do I. I want a lot more. BJ's got to figure it the F out. Completely agree. How about the Eagles? See, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, it's so bland and predictable and long developing that it's easy to beat now. It's easy to beat. Our offense has to win us games. Defense is incapable. They can be good for a brief amount of time. But Desai always finds something in the second half. It takes Desai being absolutely battered to learn tendencies. And I would make the argument, okay, and I'm trying to leave Sean Desai out of this because this is very much a Brian Johnson-focused rant. But what I will say is that Brian Johnson, for all is shit all round. Okay, we know that from the word get-go, he's been subpar. Sean Desai is only good in the second half, right, where he's adapted to what the team's showing him. So you put 2 and 2 together, and you realise that he sat there or stood there, stroking his chin, and watched for 2 quarters while his team get beaten up or allergic to certain plays, whatever it is, and he counters them. What I would say, or what I would ask Sean, is what are you doing in the week? Surely the whole point of your job is to prepare, okay? To watch tape on the team you're playing, to understand their tendency. You don't do it on the fly. You don't do it in the first quarter of the game when you go, we're 13 points down, but they do like that slant. Let's combat that. You should know that from the tape that's there. You should have assistants grinding tape, giving you pointers. And that does happen. That is the structure of a team. It's not on a coordinator to watch 18 hours of tape, but assistants can sit stuff out, grind maybe a game each, single out players and go, look, Sean, 58 is going to be a problem. He does this on this play. Here's how we can combat it. Is that happening? Or are you just going in, playing your stock defense, getting battered, and then figuring out in the second half? Which way round is it? That's an issue. You should be able to prepare to come into a first quarter of a game, hold your own, and coordinate a defense because you've studied the team. Not just put out a stock defense that has weaknesses. So offenses go, well, they really do look the same every week, didn't they? Like Brock Purdy the other week sat there pre-snap going, Debo, did you see this in like week 11? Yeah, me too, mate. Yeah, see that one against the Jets? Yeah, all right, you run over there. Yeah. And then the second half, it changes. Maybe it's tactical, so then the other team never knows what they get in second half. But, geez, can we just have somewhat of preparation in the first quarter? San Fran and Miami use the most movement, and the Eagles are last in movement. And what's the difference there? That you never know what San Fran's going to do. San Fran have players like you can target Debo in a flat and you can go up the field for 38 yards because he can, because everyone's so focused on McCaffrey and what he's doing and where players are moving around. It's just, it astounds me. It is like someone is just auto-simming on connected careers on Madden. They're just simming their way through the season for an experiment. What happens when I keep pressing A? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Imagine an Irish Brit who can stick to soccer and has a haunted PS5 in it. That is true. That is true. An Irish Brit would be it would take some doing. I mean, the Irish aren't too fond of the English, and I don't blame them in the slightest. But Guinness is nice. I'll give them that. Have you heard what Jordan Mailata and Dallas said? I heard Jordan's comment about, what was it like? Apparently Eagles fans saying he should stop singing Christmas songs. Like, yeah, that's what we should focus on, boys. Yeah, let's bully a 6'8" offensive lineman for singing Christmas songs because that will fix everything. Jordan Mailata's responsible for everything on this. I'll tell you what, no, I take it back. Jordan Mailata's fully responsible for Jalen Hurts having 2.7 seconds time to throw. If anything, that's a compliment to him. He's doing what's asked of him. But in fairness, Jordan Mailata is fully responsible for the Eagles ranking 30th in receiver separation and 22nd in turnovers. He just is. I take it back. He should stop singing Christmas songs. Yeah, now I heard that on WIP. We should all attack Jordan Mailata. Shut up! Not you, Andrew. You're lovely. But the people that were apparently giving Jordan Mailata shit, what are we doing there? Really? You've got an offense that looks like this with plays that... this is what kills me. Like, look at the state of that. 27th in slant route usage, but 7th in success rate. 28th in curl, 4th in success rate. That's Jordan. Yeah, Jordan Mailata's got the play, but it's his fault, everyone. Don't worry about it. It's his fault. Jordan's fault. Unbelievable. K1, that's true too. What was K1 said? Alternative theory, we stop dropping the bleeding ball and tackle blokes every odd occasion. Whoa, he dropped a hard C-bomb. The scheme don't matter, innit? True. I mean, that would be nice. But also, again, I'll word it this way. I hate to bring it back to golf. Tick it off your bingo card. All right, I play off a 22 handicap. If I started teaching you how to hit a golf ball, you're going to hit it like me. It's only going to get you so far, isn't it, really? If I tell you, if I've got a horrific slice and I start showing you how I hit golf balls, chances are you're going to start slicing it. So if you teach a child to write his name, and his name's Joe, and you teach him to spell it John, what's he going to spell it like? You can't expect the Eagles to execute when the offense is that bad and predictable. It's like you've got a glass ceiling. They need something to execute in the first place because it's just going to get hemorrhaged otherwise. There is no way they can be successful. Technically, the offense only scored 6. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, don't remind me, Tom. Gee, I totally forgot about that. Movement is not a concern for me, Matt. It's the fact we don't run slants ins, avoid the middle because Jalen doesn't want to pass there. That's coaching. We don't have easy. There's nothing easy about this offense. Everything has to be long post, 32-yard heroic catch. There is no simple slant. There is no out route. There's no levels concept. I swear to God, right? I watched a bit of film. I tried to get through it earlier. I found a dodgy link online. I can't remember the exact play. It was second quarter. It was quite a long second down. And they ran a levels concept, okay? They had a bunch set of receivers. And the first receiver broke in about 12 yards in. The second was about 20. And the other one just ran all the way to the end zone, right? A levels concept should be 1 at 5 yards to bring down a linebacker, 1 at 10, bring down, and then you go the one-on-one. You cannot have a levels concept where every level is the top level. You don't have a multi-story car park, but it's one story, do you? You have a shelving unit, but there's no shelf. It's just bottom top. Stack everything on top of each other. It is pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. I will say this. Matt might be onto something. What if we took Desai and threw him in the ocean? If it's Jalen throwing, he'd probably miss. Whoa! No, he wouldn't. He's quite accurate, really. But we'd probably scheme up to throw him in the motion, and he'd land in the pebbles. We'd scheme him to throw him in the ocean, and he would land on the sidewalk somewhere. We don't have hot routes for blitzes for the 6th most blitz QB in the league. There's nothing. There is nothing. It is stock. Everything is stock. You have a stock offense and a stock defense. The defense adapts. Brian Johnson starts playing Clash of Clans. That's your Eagles team. That's it. Eventually, K1, our talent's going to have an off day. I think they're already having it. I think they're already giving up. They just sort of are. I don't know crap about football, says Jamal Marshall, but I somehow knew that was coming. I think they should at least try to use AJ like Debo. I think AJ should be, I mean, they've tried to run AJ screens before. The difficulty is that he doesn't have a lot of agility. If you're going to use anyone, it should be Smitty or Quez or Olamide, who have got that just burst off the line of scrimmage. AJ's pro is that he gets separation through physicality, which is fine. But if you're going to run a screen or something like that, they've started moving him to the slot, I'm pretty sure. That was new. I'll give fairness to BJ there. I'll give him props. We did see AJ in the slot, I think, for one snap at least. But there's no motion. There has to be motion. I'm not asking for screens and dumps and the rest. Just get him moving around to change who's marking him or who's lined up on him, Jamal, yeah, I love how, right? I love how Winners has got a point there, or wins. Jamal says he doesn't know crap about football and then comes up with a good idea. If only the offensive coordinator who does know about football could have that same level of intellect. Yeah, maybe life would be a bit easier for everyone if our offensive coordinator knew crap about football. Because I think Jamal genuinely, unironically, knows more. So Jamal, give yourself some props, buddy, because you are already 3 steps ahead of a man coordinating an NFL offense. Offense was cranking out 300 yards a game, but we can't stop turning the ball over. But again, it comes from the same thing, doesn't it? It comes from the same thing of like just poor play design. It probably was cranking out 3 yards. Okay, so let's put it this way. If the offense hasn't changed, which we can all agree it hasn't, it's the same offense that was being trotted out in week 1. There's no new wrinkles. As we said the other day, can you name me one player on offense that has got better from week 1 to now? Okay? Coaching staff included. But the offense at the start of the year was cranking out 300 plus yards a game because the talent was doing enough to get through. And then defenses start learning tendencies, as defenses should. And they go, okay, well, they're really struggling against this. Let's key in. And then the offense doesn't pivot. And then Jalen starts trying to do long plays every time. And he gets blitzed and sacked and all the rest of it. So it probably was great at the start of the year. In the same way, Chip Kelly's offense was once fantastic. And what made Chip Kelly a bad coordinator? Not a coach. What made his offense, a GM, like what made him a bad coordinator, coach, play caller? The inability to recognize that it sucked. Defenses caught up to it. And all of a sudden, the up-tempo didn't work. People were cluing in how to stop the screens, how to stop the underneath. And then your players get exhausted and they can't get off the field and you end up fatigued. It ran out of steam. The Eagles started this year with an explosive offense that was built from the run game outwards, that DeAndre Swift went on a historic run. A.J. Brown went on a historic run. And since then, there has been absolutely nothing because defense is aware of it all now. It's as simple as that. My lighter said that BJ took ownership from the San Fran game to the players and he called a better game against Dallas, but the players screwed it up. Okay, I mean, I'm willing to buy that, but the fact that then BJ went out in a presser today and said, oh, we're getting there, we're just not finishing, and then almost that's kind of throwing his players under the bus. And if the players are admitting that, fine, but I would say no. Like, from the eye test, no. I disagree. If the players want to... I don't care what they're accountable for. They could be accountable for pissing in a locker room at this point. Just be accountable for something so you can build on it, you know? So that's where I'm at with it, is like, just be accountable for one thing, build on that. So maybe they're right. Maybe the players felt BJ did call a better game. But, I mean, outside of the penalties, I can't think of many ways the players were... I mean, Jalen left a lot out there for sure, but... Again, there wasn't like a lot to help him. It's Jalen fighting a tide and then going, God, Jalen's not swimming very fast. No, funny enough, Derek, he's swimming against a tide. You know? Oh, Jalen Hurts looks like he's drowning. Probably Derek. Probably is. He probably is drowning, isn't he? You know? If it's a smooth current and he can work, actually implement it better, then it might well be, you know? Who's to say? Liam's graphics game is strong tonight. I appreciate you. Jamal's in, by the way. Jamal's one of the core 12. And I think we're up to about core 15 now. If you want to be part of the core group, it's as simple as this. You just start, I don't know why I'm doing that. Like you're eating something, but sure. You just start making some comments. Give me your hot takes. Give me how you feel about me. Am I Irish? Hot take coming in the next 10 minutes. Or just about the Eagles. Like, discuss. We've got plenty of chat coming in. Give me your thoughts on the points. And have some fun. Just come in. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We go over the Eagles for better or for worse. We'd love you to be a part of our wholesome little community. The golf analogies are the new terrible relationship analogies. What does that say about Liam's love life? Give it a month. No, I'm joking. I'd say so. That's quite healthy. That's a nice... Look, I'll put it this way. The picture that I showed the other day of the Karen, that's how bad it got. We're doing all right. We're doing absolutely fine. K1, yards are meaningless. We should be cranking those numbers out anyway. I've still noticed the issues all year. What happens when the talent is met with equal force, they get blown the F out. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Replace hard work with a mildly competent boss, and it's sort of the same thing. You know, like you can be as good as you are at your job if you are being just blackballed because management isn't paying attention or is ruining the end product. It doesn't really matter. And I think, I mean, I used to work at a video game store. We used to get tracked for things, and it is a funny story. It's it's sort of relevant, sort of not. And we'll go down that LJ route instead. I used to work, like I said, at a video game store. And we used to get tracked on like accessories. So if you sold a game, you'd have to attach maybe a pre-order or some Microsoft points when they were a thing, or some DLC, that sort of a game controller cover, whatever it is. And you'd get tracked on it. And that was where the company made most of their money, essentially, or that or pre-owned games. You always have to push pre-owned. If a game came out day one and a pre-owned game was £2 less expensive, we'd have to push the pre-owned game to them. So it's what it is. But essentially, I was pretty good at my job. I was consistently near the top of the leaderboard and everything, and it was very good. And then all of a sudden, everything went tits up. Because little did I know that people were, like, all our numbers were down, but there was a real push to get these numbers up because, we were struggling for money. So I was grinding my arse off to get these games in and attach the pre-owned and the little Super Mario tins and whatever else. And little did we know that a manager and a member of staff were trading in games like as something that doesn't exist. So saying you've got like a really rare limited edition game someone's traded it in, trading it in as Madden 12 that gets sold for $2, and then buying it back as Madden 12, and the company was losing a ton of money because of it. And then that's how they found out. Okay. Same thing. If complacency sets in, doesn't matter how good an individual plays, that it's going to come back to haunt you. And that's what I'm saying. Jalen Hurts is fighting a current. I think there are plays, even against Dallas, he looks genuinely like an MVP quarterback. Then there are plays, he's fighting for his life because he's in the pocket for too long. Blitzes are coming his way. Receivers aren't open. And that's what's being called because it is a year-long trend. It's that simple. And if you don't believe me, we'll go back again. One more time for the newbies that are here. We've got 22 of you in. If you can leave a like, we're trying to get more likes than we had Eagles offensive points on Sunday. It'd be great if you could leave a like and support the show. Jalen Hurts this year, 2.7 seconds time to throw. 6th most blitz quarterback of anyone in the league. The receivers aren't getting open, and he's completing 40% of his passes against man coverage. As a result, 20th in drops, 22nd in turnovers. That's the offense. That is your quarterback forced to stand in a pocket with a ton of pressure, looking for receivers who aren't open against man coverage that is smothering them in the first place. And the coordinator is doing nothing. And again, the slant route usage, 27th, success rate 7th. Curl route usage, 28th, success rate 4th. 2 running backs in the backfield usage, 31st, and yet they are the 6th most effective team when they run them. It doesn't matter how good those players execute if up top sucks. And that's sort of where we're at the minute. Chip Kelly reference, mute yourself. Quay should bring run and go routes all game. Quay should wear a hoodie without his face on it, to be honest. I'll run back even further, Nathan. Let's take away the game responsibility. The guy should not be showing up to a game with his own face on a hoodie that he's wearing. It is what it is. But should Smitty on the side all the time, clear the safety for him. That way Smitty can run whatever we need. That's the play. That's it. But that's creative play calling, Andrew. And what you're failing to realise there, unfortunately, is that Brian Johnson doesn't see it that way and sees, if I run everyone very fast and they go deep, safety go to them. Yes, Brian. Yes, they will. And by that point, Jalen Hurts is on his ass spinning around doing the Macarena because he's been sacked again. If we can quit fumbling on 3rd and 1, that'd be good. Fair enough. AJ kind of has killed teams all year on slants. Get him in. Just someone get him in. I'm so far behind on comments as well, by the way. Brian Johnson said it's not me, it's you. I'm actually lost. I'm trying to run back down. Where are we to? We can't run RPO if the QB can't run, but he does just on random plays. That's the thing. Remember when people said Jalen was being carried by the system? Yeah, Jalen's carrying the system. That's the thing. Like, without Jalen, we'd be an absolute train wreck right now. I bring my analysis hat when I make a stream, but I'm mad at this dang team. Dude, never apologize. That sort of discussion is why these streams exist. Like, you need a place where no shots at sports talk radio or anything like that, but where these conversations can be had and you can dictate the conversation and we can discuss openly what we feel about the team. Okay, it's not clickbait. No one's being overzealous or saying anyone should be fired, but as a community, we can interact and discuss what's going on. And I think it's special. So never apologize for that. We want all the analysis here. Why does this chat have better ideas than an entire room of NFL coaches? I wish I knew. We know ball. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can get through. I think it's a tap 12 here. Hot take, Karen is Liam from Wales. It's not Liam from Ireland. We'll put it that way. Ron K's in. Oh, Ron's in. Shout out to Ron. Run defense has been bad since we let Derek Barnett go. I wouldn't call it the turning point. I'll level with you, Ron. I wouldn't call that the turning point of the season. That Derek Barnett was maybe it was. Maybe letting Derek Barnett go was the downfall of this Eagles team. It has gone downhill since. We can't lie. There is a trend. With Derek Barnett on this Eagles team, they won 10 games. Oh, I hate that it's come to that. I knew there was a point to this anecdote. Of course there is. I don't give anecdotes without points. That would be lame. That would just be me rambling at you without Eagles-related stuff, which only happens like 20% of the time. It's Liam rambling, usage rate first in the league, success rate 27th. Call me the opposite of Brian Johnson, all right? That's what we do. But 0-2 without Derek Barnett. I think we found the root cause, fellas. The Eagles without Derek Barnett are 0-2. That's exactly what's happened. Who are we to say? It has all gone dramatically wrong. Oh, it's all part of the fun, isn't it? I was going to announce I was going to have a drink, and there's no drink in the bottle. So that is absolutely brilliant. Correlation or correlatoin. Got him back. I'm actually, made a joke at K1. I wasn't a big deal. I wasn't happy with myself at all. Not one bit. Isaac, we can't fire anyone at this point. As Barrett said from FF7, I don't know what that is. We're on this train till we get to the end. Oh, Final Fantasy 7, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's Final Fantasy 7. Am I uncultured? Have I missed some FF lore? I've never played the games. I really should. But that's my Final Fantasy. Will be a cohesive offense. You don't know the good times until you leave them, as Andy Bernard once said. And God, do I miss the 2022 Eagles offense? Because what are we watching right now? You know, it's upsetting. It is really, really upsetting. But we've got just over 10 minutes left. So if there's any other questions that you guys want answered, do let me know. We can get into them before we go through. I have debated streaming again. I don't know if I want to overly commit. Like, I'm 9 years deep into a Football Manager save, and I like having my evenings just doing that at the minute. As sad as it sounds, like, I love streaming, but even after an hour, I get tired now. I get a bit exhausted. So I think if I'm screaming at like gaming stuff at 1 a.m, I used to love it. I used to love doing iRacing and Football Manager and stuff like that. But it just can't. I don't know. I've got a life now where I have hobbies and I have work, and it's healthy. And I know this is work, and I love it because of it. Whereas like when it all blends over and there's just no off switch and every hobby becomes a work thing, then that's where I kind of burnt out, I think. So, and that's when we don't want to see Karen LJ again. We don't want to see. Maybe we do. But we don't want to see those Karen glasses in. I see the vision trying to get me to burn out, so I put on the glasses and have a dodgy haircut. I'm not falling for that trick. Don't you worry about that. There's more to get on Liam's nerves. Nobody should get fired, especially now. Liam should be fired for correcting a spelling error. Yeah, probably. Oh, well. Sorry, everyone. I thought I was being funny, all right? I don't get many wins against you lot, do I? I thought I could have one joke without you being mean. How do you feel about Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? I haven't actually watched his tape. I'm unfamiliar with his game, as the memes would say. So I don't normally start watching tape until the off-season because I don't understand how it works with college. Like, I don't know which players go up like to the NFL, who declare, who doesn't. So I can't tell you the amount of times I've watched like a Boise State game randomly. And yep, John Hightower, make the joke. It's all very funny, isn't it? And I found a player. There was a quarterback not long ago. And I was like, he's going to be great. And I watched him for like 2 years. And he didn't even bother going to the NFL. And I was like, what are we doing? I don't understand. I do know Jeremiah Trotter Sr. I know he's an Eagles legend. And I know it feels very logical to get baby Jeremiah in. So I'm not that out of touch. I know I'm British or Irish, apparently. Who came in and said I was Irish and left? That takes some doing. We aren't Giants or Washington fans. It ain't draft time till after the Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't normally watch tape until literally like March. Like as soon as the mock drafts start, I'm like, okay, I'll start doing a mock draft and then look at who's on the board when the Eagles are up, and then I'll watch tape of the players that are on the board and go from there. So that's my pre-draft process. Knew you were younger than me. I'm not that young. I'm 28. I had a shave today as well. Look at that. Look at the face on the young man. I look like a thumb again. But yeah, 28 years old. I just look like I'm 15. To sound like I'm 16. It's a hell of a life to live. I can tell you that for free, my friend. But yeah, if it's your first time tuning in, I'd love to hear about it. If you would let me know whether you hated the show or not. Again, we're live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you could leave a like, that'd be absolutely amazing. I'm going to try and check how many likes we are on because I'm just genuinely intrigued. So give me a second. I want to see if we've done it. If we beat the target. We have 15. Look at that. We're officially better than Brian Johnson. Well, look at that. We've got 15 likes on the stream. Love that. Let's see if we can push to 20 by the end. That would be tremendous. That'd be terrifically tremendous. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. went from being a second-round pick to a first now that Barrett Carter from Clemson went back for his senior year. See, it all confuses me. There's too much going on in college football, and there's a playoff that's 4 teams out of like 7,000. But then some teams can't go because their wins don't matter against other teams, and it's all a bit much for my little English head. Stick me with promotion and relegation, I'm all right. As soon as college starts, I get. But I will say, I have a soft spot for Boise State because they have a blue field, and that's fun. And the first college team, and I have a soft spot for Oklahoma for some reason, and Stanford. Oklahoma because a certain former Eagles quarterback used to play there. And Stanford because they're the same color as Oklahoma, but Kevin Hogan used to play there, and I famously wanted Kevin Hogan as an Eagle. So again, look, I understand. Some days I'll make analysis like this, and you'll think, wow, Liam, this Brit knows ball. This random 28-year-old British kid knows football. And then I'll sit here and say, I wanted Kevin Hogan on the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's it. Like, you're like, never mind. Back again. I'll tell you, look, even this, look at this, look. Comeback season hoodie. It's a Johnny Manziel hoodie. It's got, you probably can't see it. It's got Manziel 2 on the back. I'm a sucker for Johnny football. I like Texas A&M. Love to see. Isn't the current Eagles? Yeah, not that one though. Not that one. I'm on about, sleeves. He wore sleeves. Boise State gave us John Hightower. That might be the most heartbreaking thing of all time as well. Like, I can't, that might genuinely be the most upsetting thing, that he graded out over every receiver in that draft class that I watched, which was like 40. He was like the 4th best wide receiver across the board. And I was like, he's going to be a day 3 pick that is unbelievable value. Like, it makes too much sense what the Eagles are looking for. That is a developmental Z receiver who's got game-breaking speed, great breaks, fantastic agility, nice catch radius. He's going to be great. And then the Eagles actually picked him. Like there was no way some random ass receiver from Boise State ended up in Philadelphia without a bit of push, I think, from me. Maybe that's egotistical, I don't know. But there was no one else ever that was mock drafting John Hightower to the Eagles. Not a single one. This weirdo did. This little wild card did. And I loved him. And then he got... Nothing happened. Literally nothing happened. He just didn't do anything. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what happened. I'd love to talk to John. Did he show up in? Did he travel? Did you get on a plane to Philadelphia? Did you put on a uniform? Did you change position? Did you change your name? Like, what's the deal here, buddy? You let me down, bud. I'm trying to build a brand off your back. There was a song. What's going on? Liam, can you give us an education on the difference between English and British? Okay, so England is a country within a country, which is Britain. So Britain is made up of 4 countries, I think, of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And then the other island isn't in England, and they very much hate England. But Scotland is no longer in Britain because they want to be in England's like, think of America as if states were countries. And that's sort of what Britain is. And England is a state within the country. That's the best way I can probably describe it. Bossman was slobbering on the John Hightower pick. Man, I was double guac twisted on John Hightower. I can't lie. I thought he was going to be the next big thing. Like, give it 2 years and that kid's going to make it. Having said that, I remember when the Eagles signed Boston Scott to the practice squad from the Saints, and I broke down LA Tech tape. I broke down LA Tech tape on Boston Scott, and I was like, he's going to be great. He's going to be a long-term fixture in this team. I was right there. Cravon LeBlanc, another one. That I'm good with them. It's just the, when you're swinging in pitches, you're gonna miss some. All right, you can't hit all of them. The draft's a crapshoot. But especially when you're looking at day 3, which is like the leftovers, and you're just scrapping through, I'm doing all right. My draft track record isn't terrible. You guys see the Pats will move on from Bill Belichick? Really? Wow. I had no idea about that. That would be crazy. I mean, that just doesn't feel real. That genuinely doesn't feel real. Devontae Walker, North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Look him up, chat. I'll tell you what. We'll do some draft streams in a few weeks when it all goes horrifically wrong, and we'll start trying to break down some tape. Now, I don't know if YouTube will allow me to watch college tape online. It usually, I swear to God, man, like it was so hard. But obviously, YouTube became a key part of our revenue at PSN, which meant a key part of whether I ate baked beans or like actual food for an entire month. And the amount of times I would make a mock draft because, and it would have all the graphics on, and it would be really smooth, and there'd be player highlights, and the company that owns somehow every college's highlights ever would demonetize it, was unbelievable. And like it would get like 10, 20k views, and it would get demonetized, and I'd get nothing off it. And I'd spend 8 hours, and the MacBook screen started burning because it was rendering projects that were like too intense, and it was like blurring everywhere. Not a penny, but I did it for the love of the game. I did it for the guys like John Hightower, who isn't in my basement. I was going to say as much as I wish he was, but then that sounds equally weird, so I won't say that. But I hope what is he doing now? Let's have a Google. Is he on a practice squad? Please say he's on a practice squad or something. He's a free agent. That means there's still a chance. There's still a chance. Apparently, he's on the Chargers for a bit. Okay, cool. Well done, John. Christ. Yeah, didn't play a single snap. Did have 10 receptions for 167 yards in 2020, though. Might go back and make a highlight tape because I feel chaotic. I wouldn't exactly call Bosco great unless he's playing the Giants. I want to see us get Brendan Rice USC. See, I'm there nodding now and going, yeah, bloody Bosco. FYI, because you may not be aware of American politics and societal issues, the NFL hasn't been hiring minority head coaches. Brian Johnson is a major candidate to fill the role. Can't criticize him. I mean, yeah, I understand like the Rooney Rule and stuff. Like, look, I still think that Juice Staley should have been given a head coaching role, or at least an interview. There should have been a push for Juice to get a coordinator role, and the fact there wasn't is genuinely really upsetting. Like, he was, D'Amico Ryans is a coach I'd have loved in Philly for a bit as a DC. That never panned out. Obviously, look at what he's doing now. I can't see off merit many people looking at what Brian Johnson is producing, which again, brilliant. That's lovely, Brian. You're having a great time, aren't you? Yeah. That's lovely, Brian. Oh, what? Yeah, well done, Brian. Yeah, I can't see it being a danger of many teams snooping around him anyway, if you know what I'm saying. Another 8:15 game. I forgot about that, which means it starts at 1:15 for me, which means I go to bed at 6:30 in the morning after writing a recap, and how many more primetime games are there going to be? There's been like 6 this year, isn't there? I think maybe even more than that. I think like over half the schedule has been primetime, which for me, the pre-game stream Monday is going to be stupid. Yeah, I can't wait to start at 4 p.m. again by accident because I get the time wrong. But no, genuinely, Bossman, you've been chatting shit for an hour. We're like a badge of honor. That is the nicest thing anyone could ever say. Do you know what's a funny story? And we'll end it with this little story, okay? Once upon a time, I was in a religious education class in school, and I was 14 years old, and the teacher really didn't like me. And she said to me, a 14-year-old child, one day, Liam, you'll have a radio show at 3 a.m. so you can talk as much as you like and nobody will be awake to listen to it. And yet here we are at midnight with 21 people listening. I would say she was wrong, or very much right. Make of it what you will. And on that note, guys, thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate poor Liam covering a team enough to play primetime games. It's more the body clock. What on Sundays? What time do you watch games? Depends when they kick off. So I'm 4 hours behind you, I think. So what's the time now? Yeah, 7. So 8, 9, 10. 5 hours behind. So for me, an 8:15 game starts at 1:15. It gets done by about 5:30, and then I have to write the recap and do some like back end stuff. So by the time I go to bed, it's like 6:30 in the morning, and then I wake up at like 12 p.m. Like my average wake up time's about 1 p.m., 1:30. I start work at about 2, work till about 10, eat, then stream for an hour, and then I'll go and play Football Manager and cry myself to sleep. So and that's all part of the fun. Liam was a proper rude boy as a younger, innit? I was a ute. There's a term for you, Marshall. I was one of them utes. I mean, it's not midnight for us, but I'd take it. Phil streams 1.5 hours. I know. Phil's better in every way. All right, Phil has a lovely beard. He has a lovely facial hair. He has a better show. It's in the morning. It's an hour. He's probably got a longer willy as well, isn't he? All right, it's all lovely for Phil. Lovely, lovely Phil. No, I'm joking. We love Phil. What's utes? Utes is a term for youths, but Englishified, if you will. And on that note, guys, I've got to make dinner. I genuinely would probably stay a bit longer tonight, but I haven't eaten yet because someone decided to sneak to the driving range for an hour and do that instead. So I have got... oh, no, the consequence of my own actions, as they say. Can you believe me? All I'm saying is, Phil made the comment about Brian Johnson. Okay, Phil made this comment, all right? Let's go back. I'm only joking about Phil, by the way. We had a lovely conversation earlier, and I love him to bits. We had a little phone call. Friendliest guy. Love him. Brian Johnson's not the problem, is what Phil said earlier. And I would just like to remind you that he might be the problem slightly. Yeah, just ever so... Just a little... problem there, isn't it? Really, it's all just a little quibble. Is he a better golfer than me? I don't actually know what he plays off. He probably is. I would love to have like a PSN Golf Invitational one day. Oh, lights again. Yeah, we all know the jokes. You've seen them there. Not the problem, but a massive problem. Yeah, very much so. I'd love to organise like a PSN golf tournament one day where we just get a few of our writers that play out there, have a few of you guys if you play out there. Love it. I love when we say rivalry. Like I don't big him up every time he comes in the street. He probably just chats shit about me on a Monday morning. It's unbelievable. It's very one-sided rivalry. That's all I'm saying. But you've got better graphics. But he does have a beard. And there is that. But for the Mandem 18 that are still here, every single one of you, thank you so much for watching. I think you are lovely, lovely people. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you could leave a like and haven't already, that would be amazing. And just don't forget that if you could subscribe to the channel, you get notifications when we go live, which for this stream is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, which means I will see you on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern to talk Eagles Seahawks, and that is surely going to be a roller coaster. So guys, take care. Enjoy your Wednesday evenings. Thank you again for lending me your ears for an hour or so now. Go Birds. I'll see you Friday. I've got to work on the exit. I keep saying bye about 80 times, but I love you all. Thank you for hanging out. You're great. Bloody love you. Bye.